Hey guys, we're here today talking about juicing, and we have a special guest, Vanessa Harrison. She's here to tell us about her journey with juicing and healing. And so, as you know, Grow, Learn, and Die, me and Johnny out here on this ranch with our garden. And so, we want to be able to just talk about how we can use some of the things that come out the garden as an opportunity to juice them and how we can help our bodies. So we're here today, Vanessa. Thank you for attending. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. I'm just giving you my accolades now. All right.
Well, thank you for having me. I know
Yes.
you could have anybody here because so many of us are out there juicing. So thank you
Yes.
for choosing me to be here today.
Yes. Well, I want to choose family. Family comes first.
Okay.
So if you want to, let's just get started and you can just walk us through how you started juicing and how you got on this healing path using juice, the fruits, vegetables, all of that as a part of your healing journey.
Well, the first thing is I want to give the whole history. I've been vegetarian now 10 plus years. And I realized in my journey as vegetarian, I was not really vegetarian. I was a meatless eater. And the difference to me is eating all of the other foods, cookies. Oh, I'm vegetarian. You know, I did eat salads. I did eat a lot of plant-based meals, but I enjoy my sugar too. And that come by way of desserts. And that's important because when you are on a truly healing journey as a healthy eater, that won't be as much of a vice as it was in my life. And fast forward, a few years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I actually asked myself, well, how did I get breast cancer? I'm pretty healthy, but I started really looking into my diet, and I learned that I was a fake healthy eater. I gotta say it.
Okay. Fake healthy eater.
I think I'm one of those. Fake healthy eater.
I'm one of those.
So for me, I came into juicing because when I started going through the chemo, I realized that the foods taste horrible, and it was important to feel like I had energy, and I still went to work, and I also didn't want the world to pass me by. You know, my husband would try to take care of me and tend to me, and I was so insistent on doing it on my own. But I realized I lacked the energy. I didn't have the nutrients in my body. And so chemo kills both the healthy cells and the bad cells. And so I had to find a way to get that energy and still survive. I researched juicing, and I learned that basically when you're juicing, you're able to get a compact amount of nutrients in your body from one little bottle. It gave me the nutrients that I need, the magnesium for the energy, the iron, all of those things I was lacking, potassium. And I began to feel healthier, and I noticed the change in my energy level. I noticed the change in my sleep patterns. And I said, well, there's something to this. And I began to even share with my doctors. And they would say, well, whatever you need to do to feel better, then go for it. But I also noticed that when I would eat sugar, I would have pain. And that was a great way to get me away from the sugar, because I wouldn't have otherwise. And I learned how detrimental sugar and salt, those things that normally preserve things, it was killing our bodies. And so juicing has become a part of my life as a result of learning and seeing how it works. Two ways to know juicing works. One, you feel the difference in your body, your energy level, and your skin, your digestive system, your sleep patterns, all of that will show. And the second thing is when I was going to the doctor and I'm getting my lab report with all of the updates on my nutrition levels, and they were all good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when I lacked something, your potassium level or something like that, my doctor by then had learned me
Mhm.
what's a natural way. Don't give me those big potassium horse pills. Tell
Mhm.
me what I'm lacking, and I'm going to try to find a healthier alternative to get that level up. And it worked.
Okay. So the doctor didn't give you alternatives. You just went, did you go on Google and search? Did you buy a book? So how did you, do the research to find what was going to work for you?
All of the above.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and people criticize doing a Google search or
Mhm.
AI or whatever it is, at least start there.
Mhm.
But then you want to look for consistency in your research.
Mhm.
You don't want to Google something and that's it, because you hear so many people say, well, you can't, there's nothing that's good for you. There's nothing that's bad. I can't tell anymore.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, you can if you really do the research and also be patient with
Mhm.
your research. When you're taking a holistic or natural approach, it's not going to be a change overnight. It takes time. Your body has to really absorb, figuratively and literally, those
Mhm.
nutrients. And it takes time to heal your body. Um, the alternative to juicing is fasting. You want to minimize how much you're taking into your body.
Mhm.
But if you are on the go and you need some quick nutrients while you're fasting, juicing is a great alternative,
Okay.
or a great option. I'm sorry.
Okay. So how many times a day or week did you juice? Like how did you just take the 1 8 ounce a day, or did you do that 3 times a day, like a regular meal 3 times a day? How often did you juice?
Well, that's a good question, because we often um, we subscribe to what we've been taught: 3 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I felt hungry, I would juice.
Okay.
If I felt a need for it, I would juice. But I was also careful not to overconsume, because you can drink a 48-ounce bottle of juice and you're really not um, giving your body the satisfaction. It may be time for something a little more, with a little more fiber.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should eat the apple
Mm-hmm.
instead of juicing it. But the purpose of juicing for me is a shortcut to get a lot of nutrients in your body at one
Mm-hmm.
time. So yes, I juiced a lot more when I was going through my cancer
Mm-hmm.
regimen.
Mm-hmm.
But I still juice now, but it's more of a consistency basis, just to have a little bit in my system, but not necessarily to get full. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a meal for me. It's just that way to get those nutrients in my body at the time that I know I need it. We know when we've had French fries, and Thanksgiving just passed, right?
Ooh, and I'm still full.
Right, right. And so the next couple of days, I'm lightweight. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
drink a bottle of juice with a lot of greens in it to heal my body,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll go back to eating some uh, foods that are filling
Mm-hmm.
after my body digests it. It takes a little time to do that.
And so, how long did it take you and your body to detox from the sweets? Because I'm a sweet eater. I got pecan pie and some peach cobbler over there on the cabinet right now. Ooh, Lord
I
help
know.
me.
If we
So,
got to tell the truth, I'm still
yeah, yeah,
detoxing.
yeah. So, but just like once you started going through the cancer and all of that, you said some of the foods didn't taste good that you liked.
Right.
So, was the sweets a part of that didn't taste good?
Yeah, fortunately
Okay.
for me. But what I'll tell you is I've learned a little bit, and this is just my research. Please, I'm encouraging anybody to do their own.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned that when I had sweet cravings, I was dehydrated.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
typically, that's just a signal. Our body gives us all kinds of signals,
Mm-hmm.
but are we really listening to it?
No.
Right.
No.
I know that for me, I've learned when I have the sweet cravings, I ask myself, how much water have I had today?
Mm-hmm.
Or how many other sweets or any foods that will dehydrate me
Mm-hmm.
have I had today?
Mm-hmm.
And often I found that I haven't had much fruit, or I haven't had much water. The foods that are hydrating for us, how many times a day are we eating those foods that are hydrating?
Mm-hmm.
When you have a breakfast sandwich, the amount of sodium, I can't imagine. even when you have a salad, the dressing, the
Mhm.
amount of sodium in that's dehydrating our bodies.
Mhm.
So we think, well, I had a salad today,
Mhm.
but now we had
So what did we
dressing.
put on it?
Exactly.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
doused it with 90% sodium in the
Mhm.
dressing. That's dehydrating to our body.
Mhm.
So when we have the salt and the sweet cravings, is it really that or is it something else? And that's what I use to listen to my body more. What does this really mean? And when you find that you have a sweet craving, ask yourself, have I really hydrated my body today?
Mm.
When you have a salty craving, have I hydrated my body? Have I given it the actual nutrients that I need
Mhm.
to rid those cravings?
Mhm.
Don't yield to the sugar cravings.
Mhm.
Sometimes I do. I just give in and say it's
Mhm.
a Saturday.
Mhm.
You know, I've worked out for the week. I've earned it.
Yeah.
And I think if we treat it as that, a slight reward or
Mhm.
a treat for, doing hard work every now and then, it'll balance ourselves. We'll balance ourselves more.
Okay. Okay. Now with the juicing,
Mm-hmm.
did you like juice a certain amount and store it in the refrigerator or
Yes.
freezer, or
Yes.
how did you go about having? Because like for me, I want to juice, but sometimes I'm like, oh God, I got to cut up the stuff. I got to get it prepared.
Yes.
Then I got to
Yes.
juice it. Then I got to clean it up. So I find myself making a lot and just storing it in the refrigerator. So do you
Right.
think that's better, or freezing it is better? And did you use plastic versus glass?
Very good questions. Okay, so let's start with the juicing.
Okay.
It is a process, not gonna lie.
Mhm.
It's a process.
Ooh.
So when I juice on days that I don't cook.
Okay.
I will spend a day to
Mhm.
juice, and then other days I'll cook.
Okay.
And so my husband's gotten used to the kitchen just full of vegetables and fruits all over the place. He
Mhm.
knows it's a juicing day. And what I do is I juice one large amount at a time,
Mhm.
and I store it. The first couple of days, I juice in increments of 8 ounces or 12 ounces.
Okay.
And the first couple of days worth of juice goes in the refrigerator. The rest of it goes in the freezer with the date on it, so you know how long you can store it for.
Okay.
I don't recommend anyone to juice ahead of time too much because it can go bad, especially if it's not stored properly. I don't recommend putting it on the door. You're open and closing that door every day or several times a day. That juice is getting a lot of air and not staying cold. So put it in the coldest part of the refrigerator, the juices that you're going to drink within the next couple of days.
Okay.
And then just stay consistent with drinking that juice. It doesn't have preservatives like store-bought items, so it will go bad. So the day that I'm going to drink a frozen juice, I'll take it out 2 or 3 hours in advance, and I'll have that as my midday meal or even at the end of the day.
Okay.
I tend to eat heavier during the morning and then taper off during the evening.
Okay.
So often I come home and my husband said, "What are we having for dinner?" I'm just drinking this juice. And he's like,
I'm not hungry.
So I've gotten better about telling him this is my plan. So he's not looking for dinner on the days that I have planned for myself to just drink some juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to segue into that. So speaking of family dynamics and your husband, I want to talk about how he feels about the changing, like, what kind of dynamics, how did it affect him with changing from first the lifestyle of being a vegetarian.
Yes.
So, and then talking about cooking, how does the cooking come in when you're vegetarian? He may or may not be. And then the juicing component, like did he juice as well, or did he not want to juice? So let's segue into that, and then we're going to bring in Mr. Harrison. So we're going to take a pause. All right. Mr. Harrison, wow. Dana, so glad just bringing you in on this portion, because I know that, as Vanessa's on the journey, that means you're on a journey too. You may be on a different journey, but still, when we married, hey,
I know, right?
We on the journey together, regardless of how we want or don't want, it still happens. And so when I was talking to Vanessa about when she was saying would cook some days and then some days she wouldn't cook, how did the juicing part and just, I guess, the eating healthy, how did that affect you, or how did that allow you? Did you drink the juice too? Did you do something different? You know, when on the day she didn't cook, did you cook, or, you know?
Well, thank you for having me first.
Yes.
I would say, just as Vanessa indicated, this kind of started because of a health scare.
Mm-hmm.
And so anybody who's supported a significant other through a health scare, you kind of get immersed in it as well. And Vanessa just had a fundamental belief that everything that her body needed came naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And so my problem is I'm a creature of habit, but I'm a creature of convenience too, which basically means what's the most expedient way to alleviate. But, the thing that I have to credit Vanessa for is she's allowed me to learn that, as she indicated, everything that we need occurs naturally, but we have to do a little research, find out what those things are, and just consume it. And the juicing makes the consumption more intense. You don't have to drink bottles and ounces and ounces. It's just if you do it in a more concentrated fashion, then you'll benefit from the nutrients. Now, one thing I will credit Vanessa with that I think she doesn't share as well is she spends a lot of time researching what goes together, but then pairing those things to make them more palatable. Because if you've had juice before, some juices you take, you're like, oh my God.
And when you see the green juice, she's like,
it's the
I
worst
don't
thing
want that.
So I have to give her credit for finding ways to make it not only palatable but enjoyable by pairing certain things that your body will need and just making it more enjoyable. Some things are more enjoyable than others, but I think she spends a lot of time creating the quote unquote recipes.
Okay.
And then from a vegetarian standpoint, I've also learned, because I said I was a creature of habit, and I'm from the rural South. So I like heavy starches. Well, I don't like, but I'm accustomed to heavy starches. And I've learned
and we like our meats.
Right. I've learned that vegetables can be enjoyable if they're fresh and prepared appropriately, and not to destroy the nutrients just by cooking it, because that's another thing, that how you prepare them matters. Now, I still have a ways to go, but only because, as I said, I'm a creature of expedient habit, but I have seen how it helps to consume natural items. And then finally, I will say, I'm very logical. So it took me a while to understand and accept that drinking or getting the water from vegetables was more satisfying and hydrating than bottles and bottles of water.
Oh, yeah.
For me, from a logical standpoint, it took me a while to just accept it. Like, you mean I don't have to drink a liter of water? I can just drink this small bottle of coconut water called or cucumber water, and it's more satisfying than these ounces.
Then
and ounces
what they tell us, 5 bottles a day or 6 bottles a day.
And so you learn that, so logically that kind of take a step back, but all I can say is that I've seen it firsthand, even though I can't explain it.
So do you have your favorite juice that she makes?
Well, the ginger shots are good, just for winter health. She has this thing called pineapple refresher, which is very hydrating. But a pineapple and sometimes I'm not sure cucumber. But there's a variety of things that she makes, and I don't really always remember them because she legitimately is keeping track of the recipes of what she thinks people will like, and I am the guinea pig. So
you are the taste tester.
He is a great taste tester, and I will tell you, every time I've given it to him, he's spot on about something that he doesn't like. He's not overly critical, and he's not just being a yes husband. He will say, it seems like it's a little too much ginger, or it's a little too sweet, or, and those things have been very helpful for me because he's spot on with the average consumer, with the average customer that I will have.
Right.
And so I appreciate, he's definitely a great candidate for testing my product.
Well, we appreciate that
Thank you.
palate too, because again, different people have different palate taste, you know.
True.
So it's good to have somebody that can take, because for you, you're used to it. You're like, oh, this tastes excellent.
It tastes
And he
marvelous.
come along and say, you know, yeah.
And-
So
And one other thing, he eats vegetables. I don't have a problem with him not liking a whole lot of things.
Mhm.
He's pretty good about that. So it makes it even more enjoyable because he's not a picky eater. And our son is also vegetarian, but we're two different types of vegetarian. I'm a raw vegetarian eater,
Okay.
and he is a cooked vegetable eater.
Okay.
And so I make a lot of meals that incorporate both of them. One example, I'll do like the rice bowls, and we'll incorporate some sauteed vegetables, and then we'll have mushroom as his meat. Or protein, and Dana will have chicken, and then we'll have a glass of juice.
Okay.
And what I've learned is even the pairing of the meals with the juice matters, kind of like a wine drinker.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So
okay.
I've had to learn, okay, when you have foods that are heavy with starches, a refresher chill is perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Or a cucumber, something like that. But we'll talk about pairings later, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
One thing I do want to share is how much Vanessa values the ingredient selection, and that kind of makes us appreciate your growing of food and how important that is. Because I don't even as she pursues this, she spends an extraordinary amount of time in the grocery store selecting ingredients.
Well, we don't want to discourage the juicers, would-be
I'm sorry.
juicers. You know?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, but we're not going to discourage them, because they can come out to the ranch and
That's
just pick
right.
out the
And
garden,
to the class,
and we'll help them pick it.
Okay.
And we're gonna help them pick it,
There it is.
and then you gonna help them juice it.
I will love to.
And then we're gonna help them grow it. You know, so we all in this thing together.
Okay.
It's gonna all work together.
Important.
But like you're saying, for us to be a little more healthier, we do have to take a little more time on how we pick ingredients, because we want to make sure,
even in the grocery store,
because we want to make sure that what we're getting is going to be truly healthy, because even some things in the grocery store, you may not want to buy. So absolutely. Whether it says organic or not, that's just a word. As we see.
And often it's made to look pretty for you to buy it.
Yes.
And being out here at the ranch, I love being able to pick the authentic, imperfect bell pepper. It's got a little curve, but it's so good. And that's how it should be. Not going in picking something that looks like a mirror. You can almost see your reflection in it because it's got so much wax on it.
And so that's our issue, because we eat with our eyes and we pick with our eyes.
Yes.
And we do a lot of things. We dress with our eyes, everything with our eyes. And so our eyes can be a little deceiving, like you say, if you've never been to a garden to see how things truly grow and how they truly look. When you get in a grocery store, you'll think that they're coming straight from the garden, but really they've been altered a little bit just to make sure that the consumer buys it.
Yes. Yes.
And just preserving it, like she says, what I've learned in my little, and I'm not an expert, but just the freshest ingredients don't last very long.
Okay.
That's true.
It's just the way it is.
Because
that's been my experience, but perhaps I'm still learning.
Well, we're learning that too. When we pick stuff, from the garden, it's like, oh no, we can't sit that bell pepper in the refrigerator for a week because it gets to shriveling up. Because it's made to pick and eat. Because it's you need it fresh. You need it fresh, and so once you sit in the refrigerator for a long time, I'm like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to put that in the compost because it didn't last long. So we're even learning to be a little more conscious of how much we pick from the garden at a time. We can only pick what we're going to eat at that time or during that day, because otherwise, even with the lettuce, you don't want it to wilt and things like that. So it makes sense. It does make sense.
Right. But to that point, I want to make sure that people know that this is not to be discouraging, but to take small victories. Start off with the apple from the grocery store. and you'll see the difference in the taste from the apple juice that has been preserved and has artificial dyes and flavoring in it. And then you can graduate to the gardening. You know, it's not meant to overwhelm or discourage. It's meant to take things in small doses, small victories. And the first time I juiced and I drank my apple, it was so delicious and sweet and cold. And then I began to mix. My combination is 60-40, and I put herbs in it as well, because the fruit tend to have a lot of water and hydrating properties. The vegetables, medicinal, and the herbs just tax that on and makes it even better. And so you don't need as many vegetables to have the healing properties, and you don't need as many herbs to have the healing properties. So a little goes a long way with those. And that's important to know because you're going to juice an apple and yield this much. You're going to juice a cucumber or celery and yield less. But when you juice herbs, you're going to look like you just have a small amount, but a little goes a long way.
Okay, well, with that said, we're going to segue into pairing.
Okay.
So we're going to take a pause here and segue into pairing.
All right.
All right.
Great. So now we're going to talk about the difference in kind of like pairing, not necessarily recipes, but, you know, the different types of juices. Do you experiment with more juices or do you keep the same regimen? And do you have different juices in the winter versus the summer or spring? So let's first talk about why you necessarily don't use a specific recipe.
Okay, well, I try to discourage people from doing recipes too often because it can become costly and it can keep people from the ultimate goal, which is just get some of those nutrients in your body. So, for example, some fruits are seasonal. You don't want to stay so caught up on, I have to have this match with this. Try something new. And my recommendation is juice everything individually and taste it maybe a tablespoon at a time, the pairings, and see how you like it. Because once you've added too much, it's hard to go back from that.
Oh, so it's kind of like mixing the alcoholic beverage.
Yes,
you know, it's like a
mixologist.
Okay.
Yes.
You become your own mixologist with your juice.
Yes.
Okay.
And so my recommendation for me is I do about 60-40. I don't go beyond, I don't go higher than 40% with vegetables. And the reason why is because I want to taste everything. So when you have fruit, it's more hydrating and you're going to yield a lot more juice from it typically. Unless it's a fruit like a mango or something. That's usually better for blending than juicing. Then you're going to mix your vegetables, and certain vegetables like celery, it has a potent taste. So you don't need as much. But then when you're going to do celery, you want to add something else to kind of just give it a nice blend. And so when you're pairing your juices, what I think you should do is think of a couple of things. What are you really looking for? Are you looking to hydrate, or are you looking to add nutrients, such as the properties that celery has? Is it's a great, I'm trying to think of the word. It's good for regulating your blood. And so if you're trying to hydrate and regulate your blood, apple and celery and a little bit of ginger is perfect. And the root of the ginger, I'll say start with a thumb size. That's a good combination.
So we have some, let's see. Oh, look
at that.
Ginger.
Oh, yes.
So what would a thumb size be? Just for those like me, I'm like, okay.
So this is a thumb size right here.
Oh, so you actually just measure your thumb?
Yeah, you just kind of put your thumb there.
Okay.
Start with that. Anything beyond that may be a little too spicy for some people.
Okay.
And then when you're when you're juicing greens,
Mhm.
again, I mentioned that a little bit goes a long way. All greens are good for magnesium, and we all lack magnesium.
Mhm.
I won't say we all. Most of
Our
us.
body.
Yes.
Our body likes it.
Yes. And so any greens, mainly spinach or kale,
Mhm.
even broccoli.
Mhm.
I prefer the broccoli sprouts
Mhm.
to juice with
Okay.
because they're a lot lighter. It's such a potent fragrance.
Mhm.
I'm going to say fragrance because broccoli can smell really bad.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
the broccoli sprouts are better.
Okay.
So to answer your question about mixing them, it's the number one rule is mix a little bit at a time until you find those properties and the fragrance. I'm sorry,
taste that you
juice blends that you
Mhm.
like.
Mhm.
Um, Recipes for me, I've gotten them down so I can throw several things in
Mhm.
a juicer and go. But it took some time to
Mhm.
get there.
Mhm.
And so when you talk about pairing, it's all about preference.
Okay.
But just start out. I have 8, maybe a dozen glass bottles out at a time, and I'll
Mhm.
juice them
Mhm.
all individually and taste it and combine it. And I think it's great to bring kids over, bring
Okay.
family members over, bring some friends over,
Yeah.
and have them
A little
taste
juice
it.
mixology
Yes,
class.
it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much fun to
Yeah.
do it that way.
Okay.
And you'll be surprised at how many people like their own individual pairings, and
Mhm.
it's probably their bodies talking to them.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. That's a good note. And when you just, I'm thinking about, I know the world craze of, we used to be plastic. Now we got to go back to glass. But when you're freezing your juices, do you use plastic or do you use glass?
I use glass even when I freeze them.
Oh, it don't
But
crack?
you need a little bit of room
Okay.
for the oxidation
Mhm.
and for it to
To swell. and
yes,
everything.
exactly.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I freeze even the glass.
Okay.
Now, if
Okay.
you're gonna buy plastic bottles, I know BPA free is a good alternative,
Mhm.
and that's typically what I use when I'm providing it to my customers.
Okay.
I spend a little more just to make sure that they have that safety component.
Mhm.
So if they're choosing to freeze them, that they're not worried about that.
Mhm. Oh, and that comes with the research for the consumer as well.
Correct.
We all got to do our research,
Absolutely.
and we don't have no reason not to. We
Right.
got Google and AI and all
I
kind of
agree.
things.
But what
Okay.
to that point, my motto is don't let perfect be the enemy of good, because you can spend all this time, I got to have this perfect bottle, and meanwhile you're losing time juicing.
Can you say that for the people in the back?
Yes.
Okay, say
Don't
that
let
again.
perfect be the enemy of good. I'm paraphrasing that quote, but at the end of the day, just start small victories. And over time, you can get to the point where you're using the perfect bottles and you have the perfect recipe and you have all of these things just like they should be. But starting out, just put something in the juicer and give it a go.
Get started.
Get started.
Well, again, we sure thank you for this time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're not going to let perfect be the enemy of good. And so we're going to get this juicing thing started. And so I'm so glad that you were able to come out. Now, how can people contact you or reach you? What's your social media, Instagram, whatever you
On
have?
Instagram, I am Bibing, Bibing, fruit and juice. And that's the only social media I have right now because it's a lot to keep up with. It's hard keeping up with y'all.
I agree.
So send me a direct message if you are interested in anything. My goal right now is to help others. And so if I can give you some tips on how to get started, I'll be glad to do that. Or you can come out to one of our classes, Grow, Learn, and Dine.
And you can come out to our juicing classes as well, and our mixology class. So we'll have all of those. So we appreciate you. And do you have any last words before we finish?
I think we'll make it worth your while.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really enjoy talking about this. I can go on all day, but I see him ready to hit the stop button.
All right. We'll see y'all later. Bye.